We'll have new developments in the search for that missing airplane in a moment. But first, we are learning we could be less than 48 hours now to a full Senate vote on the president's latest controversial cabinet pick, who's not a big fan of the Second Amendment. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. We are seeing growing opposition tonight to the man tapped to be America's next Surgeon General, a nomination that could get approved possibly as early as this Wednesday. Dr. Vivek Murthy is the 36-year-old president and co-founder of Doctors for America, a group that used to be called Doctors for Obama, which campaigned for the president and advocates for strict gun control laws, including new Obamacare regulations that would allow doctors to document whether their patients are gun owners. The law specifically prevents that right now. The group's website describes, quote, gun violence as a, quote, public health crisis, all of which has some questioning whether Dr. Murthy's nomination is turning what has always been the job of America's doctor into a hyper-partisan position. Mark Thiessen is a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute and a columnist for the Washington Post. Mark, first of all, he's 36 years old. He's only been an attending physician for 8 years, which is not long at all, but he does have a long history of supporting President Obama politically.
Yep, that's exactly right. Look, he is too inexperienced and too radical. That's the problem. As you say, he's 36 years old, which might be okay if he was an exceptionally qualified 36-year-old, but he's not. I mean, if you look at most past surgeon generals, they've been CEOs of hospitals, chief medical officers. They've run county health systems. Not only has he not run a hospital or a county health system, he hasn't run a medical department within a county hospital or health system. So he is a part-time doctor who's a political activist whose claim to fame, his primary qualification is that he founded Doctors for Obama, which is a group that he uses to push a radical anti-gun agenda. That does not qualify you to be the Surgeon General of the United States. He
is so anti-gun that the NRA has decided to score this vote, which they don't often do. And I mean, it's on the Surgeon General, right? And so it's like, what? They're scoring the vote on the Surgeon General? But that's how concerned they are about this guy. And he sent out tweets, this is just one example, criticizing them in the past as well. This is from December of 2012. NRA press conference disappointing but predictable. Blame everything in the world except guns for the Newtown tragedy. Wake up, he tweeted out. And here's another tweet you can see that we just put on the board. So he is no fan of the NRA. They are no fan of his. How much of an effect is that likely to have?
I think a very big effect. I mean, look, he goes out and says guns are a health issue. No, they're not. They're a constitutional right. The job of the Surgeon General is not to promote gun control. It's to educate people about diseases and disease prevention. Guns are not a disease. He seems to think they are. And the fact is that we've got a situation now where, because Harry Reid invoked the nuclear option and which took away the filibuster from Republicans, this vote is on the Democrats. This is entirely his nomination will be decided by a 51 vote majority. And so the question is, are pro-gun vulnerable Democrats in pro-gun states going to vote to confirm this guy? They're going to be in big trouble in November.
You're 8 years in attending. You know your way around the block, presumably, and he was at Brigham and Women's, which is part of Harvard. But you got a lot to learn. I mean, a lot to learn. That's still considered a young doctor. And now this guy's, potentially going to be our Surgeon General. The administration taking more heat tonight over whether this man is qualified, same as they've taken heat. He has taken heat, the president has, over several other nominees, including appointments to ambassadorships. And who could forget this infamous clip of just a few of them that he wanted put in outposts for the United States? Watch.
Mr. Barber, I take it you've been to Iceland?
Sir, I've not had the privilege yet. I look forward to it.
So the government has denounced them. The coalition government. They're part of the coalition of the government.
Well, I would say, you know what? I stand corrected.
Matt, have you been to Argentina? Senator, I haven't had the opportunity yet to be there. I've traveled pretty extensively around the world, but I haven't yet had a chance.
You've been to Norway? I guess. And Bell, if you've been to Hungary?
Yes, Senator, I have.
Oh, good gracious. And now we have this guy.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, look, the president has a pattern of picking highly partisan and unqualified nominees. I mean, we just went through this with the Justice Department nominee for the civil rights post who had defended a cop killer. Now you've got these ambassadors. That guy you showed who was the ambassador to Norway, was going to be our ambassador to Norway, didn't know that Norway had a king and not a president. And he's going to be our ambassador.
That is a toughie.
This isn't like I mean, go to Wikipedia and figure it out. I mean, they didn't even read the Wikipedia entries to their countries. You know, I mean, if you're
but they're all big Obama donors. That's one thing they have in common,
yeah.
Mark.
No, that's exactly right. But these aren't Caribbean countries. These are NATO. These are NATO allies. These are major countries, and this is the Surgeon General of the United States, America's doctor. We need qualified, nonpartisan nominees to carry out our foreign policy and to advise Americans on medical issues.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
The NRA says this is a matter of trust, and they don't think they or their members are going to trust this Surgeon General, given his statements about guns and the Second Amendment. Mark, good to see you.
Thanks, Megan.